Okay, so yeah, college challenge. What is the college challenge? First off, what is National Engineering Month? National Engineering Month is a celebration of engineering and engineering technology. Um, it is a national initiative. It's a national outreach event. So it happens across Canada and in Ontario specifically. Um, Myself, I'm part of a team along with a committee that distributes funds, makes decisions, and overall runs the campaign for Ontario. On this first slide here, you can see just the partners, some of the partners that are involved with National Engineering Month. So you have Professional Engineers Ontario, Ontario Society of Professional Engineers, Engineers Without Borders, and the sponsor of the College Challenge, OSET. That is the Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technologists and Technicians. That is probably an organization that you will hear a lot from as you go along in your career as a person in engineering technology. So I'm going to try and stick to the a 30-minute schedule for this presentation. So we'll try and end at 7:30, and if you have any questions, because there's only two of you, feel free to ask throughout my presentation or at the end. So do take notes, and again, this presentation will be recorded. So I'm just going to go through a quick overview of what the College Challenge is, what the goals are. I'm going to recap what happened this year during March in National Engineering Month and what kind of events were run by students from colleges across Ontario. I'm going to talk about how we determine the scoring, how we determine who wins in this challenge. And then I'm going to go over some of the next steps for you as somebody who's interested in this challenge. And I do encourage everybody to register for the challenge and eventually submit an application so that they can run an event in March because it's a really, really great experience. Um, Once again, the College Student Challenge is brought to you by OSET. That's the Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technicians and Technologists. And you can find out more at their website, oset.org. First off, National Engineering Month in Ontario. So as I said, it is a national campaign, but within Ontario, myself, I'm part of a team. I'm part of a committee that is in charge of managing the campaign within the province of Ontario. As you can see here, we just have a snapshot of 2012 through to 2015 this year, and as you can see, the number of events have been growing, which is great, and it definitely speaks to the collaboration between all of the partners, OSET included. So as we can see, 140 events in 2012, and by 2015 it has effectively doubled. So we're doing really, really great, and if you actually look at a breakdown of those numbers, you can see that, or I thought I had a slide here, but if you look into the 276 events, you'll actually see that a lot of the events are student run. They're not just run by professionals who are volunteering their time to speak to the public about engineering, but you also have a lot of students doing the same thing, which is really, really great and really, really important. Especially for if you're speaking to youth, if you're speaking to younger students, high school students, and elementary students, because they really take to heart the things that you as a college student, you as a younger individual in the profession, they take to heart what it is that you have to say because you are closer in age and because your concerns and the challenges that this the world faces affects the younger generations more than it does the older generations. That's just a fact. So they will listen and they'll be inspired by what it is that you have to say as somebody who's running an event. Over the years, so we've run this college challenge for 2 years now. So it started in 2014. In 2015, we ran it again, and now this this webinar is going to be about the 2016 edition of it. And as you can see, the College Challenge is really, really helping OSET as an organization get their name out there during the month of March, National Engineering Month. And in fact, these College Challenge events take up almost half, if not more than half, of the events that OSET is running now, which is really, really great because you get really quality engagement with the public from college students. What are the goals? So from OSET's end, the goals of this challenge is to increase the engagement that they have with college students. So OSET is a technologists association, a technicians association that's responsible um, for representing those who are in that profession. And as a technology student, you're going to end up in that profession. So you'll be hearing a lot from OSET in the future when it is you graduate and get into the workforce. You definitely should look into becoming a member of OSET as it's a really, really great thing for your career from a networking standpoint, from your professional designation standpoint. It's all very good to be part of these organizations and give them your name and register with them. Um, from a student side, what your goal? I mean, first off, there is a prize. Uh, let's get that out of the way. There is prize money. So if you do come in first and you do score well with the judges, your event, there is a prize. And it's also great for whatever organization you're part of. If it's your engineering society at your college, maybe you're part of a fire prevention association. That's one out in Seneca, or maybe a women in technology club. Again, at Seneca, these are clubs on campus that have run events that have raised the profile of their college club, and some of them have won, and that's helped their club continue on existing and help the students because it acts as essentially scholarship money as well. So as I said, OSET really wants to get out there with the colleges and engage students because eventually you as a student will become a member of OSET. Hopefully, that's what they hope. And not only are you running an event, and not only is OSET aware of it, but a lot of OSET members will come to your event, and that way you can network with them. Some of them might even be judges at your event, so it would be great to continue communications with your local OSET chapter, your local professional chapter. Thank you. And continue getting to know them because eventually they'll be your colleagues. They'll be people that you might see at work or people you might see at at an OSET gathering. So yeah, as I said, it was introduced, the College Challenge was first introduced in 2014. It's open to engineering technology students across Ontario. So anybody in an Ontario college that's in an engineering technology program can participate. Um, you're required to, so the challenge is essentially running an event, creating, designing, and running an event in the month of March that hits a couple of criteria that we want to see. And you also have to do it in collaboration or with the support of your local OSET chapter. So that's where that engagement comes in. Your teams need to be made up of up to 5 students. So it could be a team of 2, but a maximum of 5. And the cash prize is $2,500 and 1 year of OSET student membership. So the 2,500 will be split amongst the students, and then each of the students also get 1 year of membership with OSET, which is has some cash value to it. So here's just a picture of the winners from last year. So they're holding a nice big check. These are students from Centennial College who ran a really, really great event last year and deserve to win, really. It was a very, very impressive event, and we're all very happy and very proud that they were able to run it. In fact, some of the people on this team in this picture have moved on. They've graduated, and now they're getting involved with their local OSET chapter and also employed at an engineering technology company. Here's just some of the fine print. It's kind of sorry about the slide. It's a little bit not readable, but essentially what it's saying is students are, I'll just read it. Students are invited to host an event in March 2016. The event can be something traditional. So, if you want to run a lunch and learn, maybe a student conference amongst your colleagues at whatever college you're in, you can do that. Maybe you want to run a booth. Maybe you want to run an event for kids. That's perfectly great. But if you want to get really innovative, we encourage that too. Because we also have something called innovation funding. So you can only apply for up to $700 for your college challenge event to be part of this contest, to be part of this
Go
challenge.
ahead.
Sorry?
Sorry, no.
Oh. But there's also, in addition to the $700, if your event is super innovative, if you think that your event is something that changes the way that kids or the public learn about engineering and technology, then you can apply for innovation funding too. I'll hopefully get to that closer to the end of the slideshow. Um, the prize again is $2,500, but not only do you get that prize money, but you learn a whole lot running an event. Running an event itself is a great experience. As somebody who's organizing it, you learn a lot about logistics. You learn a lot about budgeting, and accounting. You learn about dealing with teams of people, dealing with your school administration. It's all valuable experience, and it's all something that gives you insight into a world that's beyond your studies, something that you don't normally do at school, at your college. Just a couple of rules here for you. You can work independently or up to a team of 5, as I said. You must have the support of the OSET chapter. So we need you to be in contact with the OSET chapter, and we'll help you get in contact with the OSET chapter. But it's something that you need to do. You can't do this without them knowing that you're running an event, because they'd like to see what you have to offer once you're running your event. They'd like to attend. So definitely be in touch with them. You're also encouraged to have the support of a college instructor. So one of your professors at your college, if you can get them on board just to be, to support you in any way that they can, whether it's moral support or support from the school directly in the form of, funding, or in the form of, a free room or something to hold your event in. Definitely get in touch with one of your instructors and tell them that you're doing this, because they'll be very excited that you're doing it. So as I said, who determines who wins? Well, really, it's you can find a complete breakdown of some of the results from last year on our website. There's a link there on the slide. But essentially, our criteria includes a judge's report. So there will be a judge at your event judging the event based on certain factors, as well as their own personal feelings towards your event. 2, you as an organizer need to submit a lot of some materials to us, just stories and so on, learnings that you've gained from running an event. We'd like to see these things. And then, yeah, after your event, we'd like to see you get in touch with us afterwards and tell us everything. Tell us how you felt. Provide any videos that you've taken, photos. All this matters. So once again, to break that down, there's a judge's report, so there'll be a judge at your event. We'd also like you to submit stuff to us before your event, maybe inviting us to your event, inviting the committee, any other OSET members, really putting the word out there, getting on Twitter, getting on social media. We'd like to see that. That's part of our scoring. And then afterwards, number 3 criteria is post-event, please submit photos, please submit videos, anything that you can, so that we know you ran your event, we know that it was an awesome event, and so that we can, tell the world that you did a great job. Just a little bit more in depth about what the judge will be judging you on. Did the event go according to plan? Did you accomplish the goals of National Engineering Month? The judge will interact with you as well as attendees to find out how they feel, and then the judge will submit a report to us. They're not there to assess, here's an important point, they're not here to assess, or they're not there to assess the technical aspects of the event. They're not there to provide advice to the organizers. They're just there as an objective observer, looking at things and um, judging the event. So here's some of their criteria. So the first part is a very important one, and that's messaging. So we will give you certain messages. National Engineering Month has 4 messages that they really, really want to get out there. You don't have to do all 4. You can do a combination, any combination of them. Maybe you can, maybe you just stick to one message, but you need to put into your event one of these messages, and I'll get to that soon. But these messages are basically have to do with diversity within the profession, whether maybe you want to talk about women in technology, or maybe you want to address some low income issues, or ethnicity, and so on. So diversity is a message. Secondly, engineering and engineering technology shape the world around us. So maybe your message is about the past, present, and future of a specific field. Let's say your field is building technology. Maybe you'd want to talk about the past, present, and future of bridges. What's going on with bridge technology and so on. So that's our second message. Third message has to do with engineering and technology helping society. So it's more of a it's more of like looking at engineering as a moral imperative. The world faces challenges, whether it's through the environment or poverty, hunger, and so on. And the message here would be that you're talking about how your field is addressing some of these things, or how you as an engineer or as a technologist will address some of these concerns in the future. Lastly, the fourth message is about health, safety, and happiness. So a lot of technologists are involved with health and safety. Um, One of the examples is the Fire Protection Association at Seneca. They run an event every year that has to do with the protection and prevention of fires. So that's another message that you can include there. Part 2, how well did you incorporate the theme? So every National Engineering Month has a specific theme. This year it's engineers make a world of difference. So you can sort of see already that there's overlap between the messages that we want to tell you as well as the theme, the overarching theme. But those aren't necessarily the same thing all the time. Next year in 2016, the theme is There is a Place for You. So that one is more of a diversity theme. So we really want to get the message out there in our events that engineering can be for anybody. If you're women in engineering and technology, if you are whatever ethnicity you are, whatever background you come from, low income, high income, there's a place for everybody in this profession. And in fact, technology benefits from diversity. And the current state of diversity within the technological realm is not great, and you can find studies on that, and it's a shame, and that things can be improved. And not only that, but when you have a diverse workforce designing things and building things, you're actually doing society a service, because you're designing things and building things that are usable by everybody, that is that is understandable by everybody. And this is an important aspect of technology that society is still coping with, that society is still trying to understand fully. Part three has to do with engagement. So, how do your participants feel at your event? Are they feeling alienated by what you're saying? Or is what you're saying completely understandable? Is it clear? Are you exciting them is an important one. If your event is specifically directed at kids, at students, make sure that they're really, really excited for what it is that you're talking about, and you're giving them a good picture of the future. You're inspiring them. Maybe one day they want to become a technologist themselves. That would be a great outcome. So what works when it comes to participant engagement? You definitely want a small volunteer to participant ratio, so make sure that you have a good amount of volunteers if you're dealing with large groups, so that everybody feels like they're being paid attention to, that their answers are being questioned. Ask a lot of questions too. Challenge the audience. They shouldn't just be asking you questions, but you should be pointing the question back at them, or answering their question and then asking them another question, so that there's sort of a call to action there. Especially if they're kids, they want to be challenged and they want to feel like, oh, I can be part of this. If I understand the question, but maybe I can't answer it at the moment, they'll be excited to go on the internet after they go home and look up the answer. If you're dealing with kids, it's important to have age-appropriate language. Make sure it's clear, and that you're not getting too technical if you're talking about something particularly technical. Make your activities hands-on if you can. Especially if you're dealing with kids, because they want to have fun, and they want to build things if possible. They don't want to just be lectured at. And if they are being lectured at, they might not absorb everything that you're saying. And yeah, and that sort of leads into the next point about engaging all types of learners. So not everybody is a listening type of learner. There are people who do better if you show them pictures, or do better if you give them materials that they can work with their hands. I mean, we all want to be hands-on, so let's try and incorporate that into our event. I'm just going to quickly go over these events here. These events are actually these were actually 2014. The title is wrong. Um, these are the 2014 events, so we have some really, really interesting ones. Seneca Fire and Protection Student Association, they run an industry dinner every year. So 2014 they ran one, 2015 again they ran one, and they invited a bunch of experts in fire protection, and it was very, very interesting. A lot of other teams do a design challenge at the high schools, so they send out invitations to the high schools, give them a challenge, and then the college would host everybody, all of the high schools, once they've developed their idea and designed, a robot or a bridge or so on. Centennial College 2 years ago talked about DNA, and as the future of storing information. So instead of hard drives, we would have DNA hard drives, in a way, and that was way out there. That was really, really mind blowing. You have other events that you can run that have to do with women and engineering. So you can invite girl guides or so on, and have like an all girls event where they learn about technology, and it's a safe space for the girls. They won't be intimidated, and the boys won't take over. Stuff like that is all very important, and something to think about if you're thinking about what kind of event to run. Here's just a timeline for everybody. So we're looking at registrations by November 15th. So that's an important date there. We want everybody to register by then. The sooner the better. Once you register, we'll be in touch with you. We will help guide you through the rest of the process, the most important of which is the funding application. So you don't have to have a good idea of what it is that you're doing when you register, but you should continue to develop that idea after you register, so that you can fill out your funding application. So the funding application is where your information goes. We need some contact information from the main organizer, from the captain of the group. And we also need their information so that we can send them things. We have a lot of material, National Engineering Month material that we can send you so that you can give it away during your event.
So does the captain need to be a student?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And so the captain, I guess the team, I mean, uh, once they register, they have this funding application form, and aside from their personal information, so that we can contact them, uh, they also need to just provide a brief description of where it is that they want to go with this event. So that's quite an important one because we're going to be basing, whether or not we fund these events on that description. So, it doesn't have to be super detailed, but we do want to be excited about that description. And, we don't really want to see, a description on the funding application that just says like a lecture. A lecture about what? I think that's the most important thing. What is your lecture about? We just want to hear from everybody and make sure that what they want to talk about to the public is important. It is hopefully relevant to modern times, and if it's a presentation to youth, that it's inspiring to the youth. So the due date for that is a month from now, Monday, November 30th, the funding application. So again, if you're talking to teams or if you're thinking about registering, please do. You don't have to have your idea fully developed at this point. Um, but we just want you to register so that we can talk to you. If you want advice, more advice on what kind of event you can run, you can definitely reach out to me. That's not a problem. By
So,
Yep,
are you able to hear me okay?
yep, I can.
Great. I believe that I saw November 13th on the website somewhere, and obviously it's a typo, but I forget where, so maybe what's going over it one more time
hmm
as the funding application, and it's November 30th, right?
It's November 30th. Yeah, the
Okay.
registration is November 13th or 15th or what have you.
Okay.
But I mean,
Okay.
we're
Perfect.
fairly flexible. We want as many. Obviously, we want as many teams participating. So if you need a little more time, just reach out to me, so that I know that you're just trying to gather team members, or you're trying to make sure that your idea is good enough, and so on. That's perfectly fine. But
Great.
we do want to see just contact information. That's pretty much what the registration's about. Um, by December 2015, hope we will have all of your funding applications. We'll make sure that everybody's event sounds awesome, and we're ready to give everybody funding. So we'll let you know in December how much money you'll receive. Just a note, I don't think it was in this presentation, but I mentioned that you'll receive $700. That's the maximum amount, and the $700 has to be half or less than half of your entire budget. Uh, so you essentially can't use $700 if for example, if your event costs in total $700, you can't ask for $700. It has to be $350. Most event budgets are larger than $700 anyway, so that's probably not gonna be an issue. Other places you can get your funding, the school, your college will probably have a lot of funding available. Your student association, who's funding clubs, will have money available. You can also ask your professors, any faculty, if there's any funds. They're very excited to have these types of events on campus, so you'll probably receive a lot of support from people. Another idea in order to help fund your event um, is to charge for it. Maybe charge a little entrance fee if for example, if it's a contest or a challenge for high school students. You can charge the high school students $5 just to make up some of the costs and so on. So there's just some ideas for you. Your first funding payment. So for example, if you do request $700, you'll be paid in 2 installments. Your first funding installment will appear in January. The reason we break it up into 2 is just so that people actually run their events, that they're not just grabbing money and going. So you'll receive that first funding payment in January, around January 15th. You'll also receive the scorecard. This scorecard is just a self-evaluation. It doesn't have, we want you to submit that scorecard once you finish your event. It doesn't have as much bearing as a judge's report, but we would like to see that scorecard. Don't worry about that right now. Once we send it, you'll learn more about the scorecard. It's mostly a self-evaluation, so it's not like we on our end will be judging you based on
Sorry.
for yourself.
Yep. Sorry, can I just interject for a second? How is the funding being given out? Do we have to create an account and then you'll deposit it into the account, or?
No, it's just it'll be a check. So if you're part of a club, I'm sure your college club has an account. You can put it in there.
Okay.
It goes to it goes to we have funding checks, and what will happen is it'll go to you. But I mean, we would be more comfortable if you're part of a club and you have a club account. I don't know if you are. Just
no, we have a couple of accounts that we can use, so we'll figure out the best one.
Yep. So a check will go to you.
Okay.
So it'll be one half, and then the other half after the event is completed.
Yeah.
In February, you'll also receive that merchandise that I talked about. So we'll have National Engineering Month branded items that you can give away at your event. You can give them away as prizes if you're talking to kids. If they answer a question correctly, you can give it to them. So that's all well and good. You'll receive a big box of them. It's actually kind of cool. In March, your event will be held. By April, we'd like to see all of the events be completed. And then by mid-April, we'll announce a winner. And we'll do a ranking of all the people that participated, all the teams that participated. And the winner will have a ceremony. You'll get the check that you saw, and it'll be a pretty great experience. Yeah, just a note here at the bottom: a second payment will not be distributed unless you give back the scorecard. So that scorecard comes into play later on, but essentially, what we need these things back just so that we know that you've actually run your event. So again, register now. This is a call to action. If you think that there's enough people that you know at your college that you want to have multiple teams and you can compete against each other, by all means. It's actually a really, really fun experience. And event running itself is like an engineering challenge because you're dealing with so many different aspects. You're dealing with budgeting, you're dealing with all that. So it's actually an interesting experience that I encourage everybody to get involved with. Just a quick shout out to our social media. So NEM Ontario does have a Facebook site. We have our Facebook page. We also have a Twitter account and an Instagram account. Hashtag NEM 2016. And all of that will start to get active as we get closer to March. So it starts to get exciting once we're in sort of January and February when we start talking about, Centennial College is running this event, or Seneca's doing this, or so on. It starts to pick up, and you start to see like a sort of a competition going on, and it gets pretty exciting. Once again, I encourage everybody to register. You don't need to have a full picture of what it is that you want to do just yet. That's for the funding application. The funding application will be posted on our website very, very soon once we start to see registrations come in, and that way you'll have time to fill it out. Does anybody have any questions? This is sort of the end of my talk here.
Yeah, I'll be doing a presentation on Monday to a couple of students who are interested in participating, and I'm wondering if I could get this presentation, if you're going to put it online.
Yeah. So I will, right after I close this, it will create a video for me, and I can post it online. So once I have the link for you, I can send it to you.
Awesome, that'd be great.
Do I have your email? Have we been in contact?
I did send an email to, I think, Zoe or something, but I can get you my email. I'll email you.
Okay, great. Yeah, and that way I can send a link to you.
Perfect, thank you.
But yeah, that would be great if you just want to show the video. that will help everybody understand what's going on, and we can have more people participate. The more the better.
Alan, can I get that video as well sent to me?
Yep, sure. And I'll also post it on our website somewhere, so we'll have that. Are there any other questions?
No?
Okay, great. If you do have, you have a question?
Nope.
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 Oh, okay. Yeah. If you do have any questions, if maybe later on you think of something, feel free to email me. We're here to help. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see people start registering and different colleges getting that competition going on. And we really hope that next March will be even bigger and better than 2015. So thanks for joining us. Bye.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Alan.